If you're also already in the mood for some Christmas DIYing, then I have some holiday DIY decor ideas I think you're gonna like. I am just jonesing for Christmas DIY, but none of the craft stores or the dollar stores or Walmart has any supplies out yet for Christmas. Nothing. They have nothing. I went to like every dollar store, Walmart, Michael's, even Michael's, barely any, nothing. And definitely nothing I was willing to pay the price for. There's tons of Halloween stuff. There's a little bit of Thanksgiving stuff left over, but so this got me thinking, why not use what I have? Use a few things that I've been able to find at Dollar Tree and create some beautiful high-end Christmas decor on a budget. And that is what we're going to do today. So let's get our DIY on.
Our first Christmas DIY, we're going to make a front door wreath. I'm using a grapevine wreath that I already had on hand, plus some Michael's Greenery that I bought last year after Christmas on sale when they had like their 75% off sale. And then I filled that in with just some inexpensive pine bough picks and some blueberry picks that they had on sale this summer. And then lastly, for a touch of white and a little bit of glitter, I'm going to hold these up really close to the camera. You can see on the leaves there's this beautiful frosting, so just a touch of glitter because the rest of the greenery being used in this arrangement, they are just very matte. To add to the Dollar Tree picks, I have some of those Michaels, so here's some of the slightly frosted lamb's ear that I'm going to use, and then a few brighter pine picks that I got from a Christmas tree from Dollarama last year. Easiest and most inexpensive ways to make front door wreaths is to go with the no hot glue method. So this is really simple. You just take your picks and you just shove them in between the grapevine weaving. Started with the blueberry picks and I worked them around facing in the same direction, spacing them out so that there was a little bit of room between, but that they still nestled up quite nicely against each other. Next I went in with the slightly frosted lamb's ear or whatever this is supposed to be from Michael's, and I didn't have many of those, so I just sort of spaced them out so that they would fill in any of the missing gaps. Now here's a little tip. Save your long wire stems when you're clipping down your florals, because later on, if you have a floral that doesn't have a stem attached to it, you can easily just slide it onto the end of the faux floral and then use that as your pick in the wreath. It's time to go in with some of those Dollar Tree faux pine bough picks. Started with the more subtle, slightly bluish, sage colored pine boughs. And I focused these more on the center, using them to cover up any of the plastic stem parts that showed from the blueberry picks. Then to make things look a bit lusher, you're going to want to go in with some more of those Dollar Tree pine picks. I went in with a brighter green this time, and I put those on the outside edge and the inside rim of the wreath form, staggering them so that they completely filled out the entire wreath. Next, I added just a touch of the white berries. Using a pair of wire clippers, just clip down just a few of these white berries. I really didn't want these to pull focus from the blueberries, so I just added a touch of these for a little bit of frost. The fall and winter months at Dollar Tree, you can often find these little berry clips, and I just took some red ones and spray painted them copper. And for a finishing touch, these were added to the wreath because every year our family picks a new color and a new theme for Christmas. This year we're going for a blueberry blue meets brown glass natural farmhouse Christmas. But the nice thing about all these DIYs in this video is that you can just easily change up the colors by using a different color spray paint, different colored berries, or a different colored chalk paint. And there you have it, a beautiful high-end front door wreath for Christmas.
Well, I'm all for Christmas, all the happy smiles and the wishes, and I want it all from the lights to the mistletoe. Tell me one thing, is there anything that you're missing?
For this next Christmas DIY, using what I already had, I had these long rectangle frames that I had painted out with milk jug chalk paint and then distressed. And then I had added 7 eye hooks to each of the frames. You'll also need a package of light gold and pink extra small Christmas tree baubles from Dollar Tree. Now to make these Christmas baubles look a little bit more high-end, I popped off the top of each of them and then stuck it onto a paintbrush because this will make it easier to paint. And then I went in with a little makeup sponge and some of the antiquing wax, and I just dabbed that all over the Christmas bauble and then set that aside to dry. The following day I went in and applied a second coat with the same makeup sponge. Now for the pink baubles, we're going to spray paint these blue. Again, you can spray paint this any color you like, but we're going to do the same thing, just pop off the tops, stick them onto some skewers, some wooden skewers, and then I popped those into some floral foam because this is going to help keep them standing upright when I'm ready to spray paint. Do spray paint, it's better to go in with lighter coats and let that dry and then go in with a second coat. Now, once those were completely dry, I decided to give them a couple of different looks. So some I left in the blue, others I went in with some antiquing wax and just lightly dabbed on a bit of that antiquing wax, and then I went in with clean makeup sponge and just lightened that up a bit. I applied the antiquing wax to 2 of the blue Christmas baubles, and then to 2 of the other Christmas baubles, I went in with a little bit of white chalk paint and just did the same application. And then I set these aside to dry completely. I wasn't a huge fan of the bright gold toppers to each of the ornaments, so to make these look a little bit more antiqued, just throw them in a plastic Ziploc bag with a bit of antiquing wax and some water, mush them around a bit till they're covered, lay them out on a plastic bag, and allow them to dry overnight. Now, each of these packages of Christmas baubles from Dollar Tree come with these gold ribbons that I would never use to hang them on my actual tree, but they will work perfectly for tying these to the eye hooks. Simply thread the gold string through the eye hook and then through the Christmas bauble, and then tie it a couple of knots once you get it the height that you want. I would suggest going for varying heights with the baubles. Make some higher up, some lower down. You know what I mean. Once they're attached, just trim off the ends. I'm so sorry, but I lost the footage for this. I wanted to make this a double decker, so using some wood glue and some clamps, I simply just glued the 2 frames together, and there you have it, a beautiful Christmas decor piece.
Warm as soon as you remove that snow. Whatever we do, we will be alright. These holiday wonders will open your mind. May all your wishes tonight come.
Wish I could claim this as my idea, but it's really not. I saw this a couple of years ago and thought it was brilliant. So because you can still find Dollar Tree eyeballs, you're going to want to go in with a fine tip glue gun and poke a hole into each end of the eyeballs. We are going to, believe it or not, turn these into giant beads for Christmas ornaments. Now, we're obviously not going to want eyeballs for a Christmas ornament, so stick these eyeballs with the hole onto a toothpick and stick the toothpick into some floral foam. And again, this just makes it easier to spray paint the color that you want. Again, I'm going to go in with that blue, with that beautiful, beautiful blue. But I didn't want all of the baubles to be blue, so some of them I first spray painted with some matte white and then went in with a little bit of Rust-Oleum's Pearl spray paint. Now, just like with the Christmas baubles, I didn't want all of these beads to be a bright blue. So I didn't go in with the antiquing wax this time, but I did apply that white paint application to a few of, to all of them. I did it to all of them. Now, to complement these large-sized beads, we're going to go in with some Dollar Tree beads, and then I also had some of these wooden beads in varying sizes from Amazon, and I wanted to make some of them a bit darker. So I put them in the bag of antiquing wax and water, mushed those about. The easiest way to remove the beads is to use a pair of fine tip tweezers and then wipe away any of the excess with a bit of Kleenex and then lay that down on a plastic bag to dry. To recreate these beaded ornaments, you're going to need some twine, and you're going to want to cut that down about a foot long. It really depends on how long you want your ornaments to be though. Fold that twine in half and then tie a loop into the top part of the twine so that you end up with a loop at the top. Hang your ornament on the tree with, and then the other side just has the 2 loose ends. Now, because we're going in with twine, which is thicker than thread, you're going to want a straight sewing needle that has a nice wide eye. thread the two ends through, and then use your needle to thread your individual beads onto the twine. Now, you're gonna see in a minute why you need the needle. Because yes, you technically could just thread the beads through the twine by hand, but it's not so easy with the large eyeball beads. Now, if you're finding it even hard to get through the eyeball beads with the straight needle, just wrap the needle end with a bit of elastic, and then that will give you a grip that will make it easier to pull the needle through. Then once you have all your different wooden beads and one of the plastic eyeball beads onto your string, just to finish it up, tie the end twine pieces together, et voila, you have yourself beautiful wood ornaments for your Christmas tree.
Love I lived, the dream I knew. This Christmas I only wanna be close to you. Hey.
Okay, this next DIY came about because nobody had any Christmas greenery out yet. Michael's did a bit, but way overpriced. So I decided to use some leftover Christmas greenery that I had from last year. One of them I'd already pulled some pieces from, and the other three were from that 75% off end of Christmas season sale last year at Michael's. I started with the three darker faux greenery at the bottom and arranged them so that they were sort of fanned out. And then I placed the fuller pine cone arrangement. This arrangement has lots of different things going on, lots of different pine boughs. And then I added in a few of those Dollar Tree picks just to bring in a little bit more pop of color and to make it look a bit lusher. And just like with the wreath we made at the beginning, I didn't want to make this permanent, so I just wrapped the pick stems around the stems of the Michael's arrangement. And then to attach the 4 larger pieces of greenery, I just tied it together with some twine, and then finished it off with a couple more pine cones and a sprig of those blueberries. To finish off the whole look and give it that high-end finish, I just went in with a thicker twine rope and wrapped that around the entire stem until I reached the end of the stem, and then I just cut the stems down so they were the same size, and using some hot glue gun adhered the twine rope to the top of the arrangement. And there you go, a beautiful Christmas wall hanging made from faux greenery that I already had in my Christmas stash. But tell me, what do you think? How do you think this one turned out? For this last DIY, we're going to use one of my favorite tricks for faux snow, and that's this giant container of Epsom salt that you can get on sale at Costco every year. I had this large glass jar, and I filled it with the Epsom salt, and then I added some birch bark that I had and some pine cones that I had purchased from Michael's on sale last Christmas, and then I just clipped down one of those blueberry stems into separate pieces and added that as well. For a slight touch of sparkle, I also added some of those frosted leaf picks from the white berries, but opted out of actually adding the white berries. And there you have it, Christmas in a jar.
We do, we will be alright. These holiday wonders will open your mind. May all your wishes tonight come true. The love I lived, the dream I knew.
Well, that's it for today's Christmas DIYs. If you enjoyed those, make sure you subscribe, give me a thumbs up. If you hit the notification bell, it'll let you know the next time I upload. Oh, and you might enjoy these.